Yes, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to another live edition of the WrestleSense podcast. Good to have everybody here in the chat already. Hope everyone had a good holiday. Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Festivus for the rest of us, and Christmas and all that good stuff. We're getting ready for the new year. And for sports at the end of the year, for me, I think college bowl games, NFL playoffs. Yeah, I said playoffs.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs.
But tonight we're here to talk about wrestling. And boy, are they hyping up wrestling for the end of this year and going into 2024. And I love it. So we're going to bring on the boys. We're going to talk about some of the shows, the NXT show that's coming up. We got WWE turned Raw into day one again. And the end of the world. World's End. Ooh. We'll get down to there, but let's talk about who's in the chat. Of course, Wally's in the building. Wally. Always here. Love it. Monstar sharing us out. Thank you, Sean. You're the man. We got our Canadian contingent in the building. Crushing Kelly's in the house. Midwest represented. There you go. Oh, boy. Really? No, Cleveland. Get the fuck out of here with your Cleveland shit. Good to see you, King of Cleveland, my man. Always here for the Sunday NFL Red Zone streams. I appreciate you. Oh, Tad Jarvis is in the house. There he is. How you doing, my brother? Social media icon is in the building, people. The man who exterminated JJ Rumham. Well, he got suspended somehow, but I'll stick to that story. Good to have everybody in the building. We got Andy Price from Down Under, literally from Down Under. Good to see you across the planet. And no, we got Cleveland and okay, no more football talk. All right, let's not talk about football. William Kenna's in the building. Good to see you. Welcome in. We got a special guest today as well. Yes, I'm doing great. I'm fired up to talk about some wrestling. We had our 100th episode last week. If you missed it, check it out because we went back into time and some of the past streams that we did, the best tag team, the best this, the best that. Now, and it's all opinion. We're very subjective here. Everyone's entitled to their WrestleSense. As I always say, like who you want to like, hate who you want to cheer, cheer who you want to cheer, boo who you want to boo. That's your WrestleSense. I won't tell you you're wrong or anything, but this guy will.
I will. You said talking about the best. I'm the best around, and I'm here. So let's go.
All right, fair enough. I can't argue that when it comes to in-ring competition or fighting. So you got me on that one. So
whoa, bitch.
Let's bring on the men behind the mic. We got Doc, of course.
Hey, what's going on? What's going on, everybody?
Did you have a Merry Christmas? I mean, you're the one who has the kid, so we got to talk about Christmas with the kid.
Oh, it was good. It was a good time. He got he got a lot of stuff that was well earned. He got a new pair of Jordans, which Santa Claus took good care of him. He's actually
all of his uncles. And all of his uncles.
His uncles
55 uncles.
Yeah, it's 55 uncles that he has. But I told him pick a top 5, wrestlers that he got this year. So first we have
Danhausen. I like that. See, I haven't had any since the old AWA characters that I have back here.
Now this is a really cool one because this is he also has the Chase.
I was going to say you keep the chases in the boxes.
Yeah, this one here though is from the Amazon Tag Team set because it's him and of course this gentleman right here. But not only did we get him in the tag team set, we got him also. Santa brought him the ringside exclusive. That's right. The man.
Oh, I was like, who the hell is that?
It's Hook. As you can see, the chip in his hand.
Oh, goodness. He has a damn potato chip in his hand.
Yeah, it's awesome. So I don't know what it is. It's just a potato chip. And then he really wanted an updated set of the Usos. So we were able to get Jimmy, which I think the hair is fucking horrendous.
Yeah, that's weird.
And then, of course, we have here.
Does he do this?
Oh, he also got a Yeet hoodie. There's a funny story about the Yeet hoodie, but we'll get into that.
I was ready to try to buy up a bunch of Yeet stuff when they were taking it off because of the Yeet controversy.
And this was his number one. Believe it or not, Hook was his number 1, but this was his number 2. He really wanted Solo. So those are his top 5 favorite that he got for Christmas. But he got a bunch of others. He got Butcher and a Blade. He got he did really well this Christmas. He was very, very
Jamie said it does look better than the Jimmy.
Yeah.
I got a friend who calls him Solo Sequoia, and I'm like, Sequoia?
Sequoia?
Yeah, like the tree. I mean, he says Solo Sequoia.
Oh, my. Okay, well, rock on. But like I said, he has a bunch of awesome uncles, and speaking of awesome uncles.
I know, he just walked away. I'm waiting for him to come back. LD's in the house. Good to see you. And our special guest, you guys can hate me. I don't care. Ray's not here.
I'm at a black and white gala. So, no, I am not watching.
Just the look on CJ's face is worth it when I do that.
It was more like regret for signing in and disgust.
Yeah, exactly.
Am I right? Okay.
I was watching True Detective. I could have gone back to that.
Yeah. So
give me the Alexandria Daddario scene any day.
Jason here.
Oh man.
Yeah, I don't know what True Detective is, but I might give it a chance if it's Snapshot certified.
Season 1 is the best.
Okay.
So
the Alexandria Daddario scene is the best. That's all I'm going to say.
From That Wrestling Podcast, I'm going to get it right here on YouTube. You can check him out. Him and the boys do a fantastic job. But tonight we're going to talk WrestleSense. We're going to try to make some sense of pro wrestling. We're going to talk about some of the stuff coming up, and CJ's got a rant to go on. So
I mean, not really a rant, just a lot's been mid, but we'll get to that.
Good enough. I'm down. I love everyone's opinions. You know what they say about opinions. Everyone has one. They're like assholes. And they
an asshole.
And they probably stink.
That's why you need a bidet.
Hey,
CJ has one in his house. I didn't know what the hell it was. He had to educate me.
Oh my goodness. Let's kick it off with, we've been comparing Roman's reign to a lot of things, and now Seth has passed him up with title defenses in 7 months.
No.
It's
Not
pretty crazy.
Surprising because,
Roman doesn't work that much.
Seth is more of a workhorse, but I've said it before. Kudos to Roman for having that lucrative contract.
If you got it
you can't. No one could blame him for that. He's looking out for himself as he should.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we'll talk about year-end awards here in a little bit, so we'll table some of that conversation. I thought it was a nice number. We've talked about that before. What do you guys think about Punk's first match in WWE being at a house show? Do you care? Does it a difference? I mean, or should they have saved it for TV? Good, CJ.
It says it right in there. It was the highest grossing domestic non-televised event. That's the way you should do it.
Yeah, and
he was actually given a plaque from Madison Square Garden that said, CM Punk's first match in WWE back in the Garden. It was really cool how they did it for him. And I thought it was really cool. The simple fact is that when he wrestled his first match, he didn't wear the Chicago Star short or
just plain black trunks.
Yeah, I thought that was awesome.
Well,
I thought that was really cool.
The reason that happened was his gear didn't arrive on time.
Oh, no.
And what I like about it, it's very old school to the fact where it's like, I think it was the TV was always used to get people to go to the live events. Yep. So, it's Punk. He's old school. They just announced today he's getting a Roots of Fight deal. If you don't know what that is a merchandise line, a clothing line that they're older athletes. It's kind of like a throwback, like Jr., Roberto Clemente, Dominique Wilkins, and they've got a lot of great wrestlers too: Iron Sheik, Rey Mysterio, Ric Flair, Andre the Giant, Roddy Piper, and now in January we're going to get CM Punk Roots of Fight gear.
Love it.
Sweet. I love that. See, you got some new insight.
Jason said it best. I mean, you don't got to worry about attendance with the televised stuff because that's all for the TV rights deals and streaming and all that. Where you're making the more important, in my opinion, money is from the live events and the house shows, etc.
And when I first thought of it, when I first heard of it, I thought, wow, they're going to waste that. I mean, they're still going to get a huge pop when he comes out to fight his first fight on TV and whatnot. But then when it sunk in, I started thinking, like Jason said, it's kind of old school. The one match I remember back in the day, non-televised, that was big is Ronnie Garvin and Ric Flair. I mean, you had a world title change at a house show. So the next show, they showed the shot of it, but that was about it. And like you guys are saying, the money is in getting people to go to these house shows and other events. So
what about Bob Backlund versus Diesel?
Yes.
Remember when Diesel beat him with what was it? 50 seconds or something.
It was at MSG. If I'm not mistaken.
This is every year, the day after Christmas, they do this at MSG. These huge shows. So it's the people around. And I talked to a couple people that actually went to the show. Shout out to Earl Cole from the Wrestling Experience here on YouTube too.
I watched the whole match. It was all right.
Huh. Now, so what do you think, CJ? Because you like we've talked about a million times, you watch wrestling a little different because as a worker for so long, behind the scenes and such. Compare his work in that match to what he was doing in AEW. Do you think it's the same? Is it different?
I think he said it numerous times, and I have to agree that he's back home, and you could tell he looks happy. His work is there. The only spot that I noticed in that match that was a little biff up was because of Dom, actually. And that's not taking anything away from Dom because I think he's one of the most improved of 2023. But as a true professional, only certain people would be able to know that there was a little biff up during the spot, and they regrouped, and more than not, most people wouldn't be able to tell that it was a little mix up.
Yeah.
CJ, in my WrestleSense, I believe Dom is the MVP of.
I'm not disagreeing with you whatsoever.
He has done, and there's history between those two. You go all the way back to when Dom was a kid. In the ring. It's great stuff. So I mean, they tied it in to what I mean. If you've been following them for decades and years, you realize, holy hell, that's the same Dom.
The match was solid. And to me, sorry to cut you off.
No.
But it goes to show that if you have a chance to actually watch that match, less is more. And I think that's the saying that needs to be engraved into everybody's brain on the indies, on TV, wherever. Less is more. Tell a story.
Yeah, and career longevity too. If you're doing less of the crazy, insane shit, your career's probably going to last a little longer, and that's proof the formula that WWE has been working forever, and I don't see it's going to change anytime soon. And from what I saw from the show, Rhea defended her title. They went all out for it. It's like a pay-per-view on a house show, and if you go to the house shows, you want to see pay-per-view quality. So good for them. I dig it. Let's get into some good, Jason.
Real quick, they were in Detroit last night, and Brian from my show, him and his friend, he took his family, and they had a blast. I mean, I'm a big proponent of the live events and the house shows, whatever you want to call them. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Now it's funny because he didn't get, I think the biggest name they had was Kevin Owens. but still, it's go to the live events. I know they come around once or twice a year in the Pittsburgh area. If you're here, but if you got a chance to go to a live event, go. They are so much fun. There's no time constraints, no commercial breaks.
Yep.
It's just fun. That's it.
Yeah, and when I was a kid going to junior highs around here to see WWE, going to the high school and seeing them in the gym and stuff like that back in the day, going to old VFWs and different clubs where they throw together, I mean, we talk about that CJ match with CM Punk. 25-cent beers were flowing that night. So
yeah, they were. Yeah, they were.
we had a blast, and that's an old memory of how it used to be. And people always say it's not like it used to be. It can be, and in a lot of senses, it still is.
Is that match on video, CJ? Anywhere?
I have a DVD of it somewhere.
Betamax, maybe.
No, I have a DVD of it somewhere. It's in a box.
Reel to reel tape.
In a box in my basement on high 8.
Yeah.
I have to see this one day.
We got to
shout out to Gav.
The quote when I heard about it was, he put me over and he liked it.
You'll see me and my two friends right in the front row when Punk gets up. I'll never forget it. I can close my eyes. He was up on the top buckle yelling at us, and all we kept doing is cheering, Pepsi, Pepsi, Pepsi.
If I remember right, I think that was a finish, I believe, where he gave me a Hurricane Rana off the top. I held on, rolled through into a pin. I think that was the finish.
So yeah, I mean, like Jason, we've all said, house shows, if you got a chance to go to them, check them out. I mean, and we're leading into house shows that look like pay-per-views. Let's talk about some big shows. Even on the normal shows, they're turning Raw into what would be like a pay-per-view. Now, there's only a couple matches. I got 4 that they've already announced for this show. And of course, with a lot of WWE TV, they're going to make some matches on the fly or something like that as well. I'm sure they're going to try to go all out right on Monday the 1st.
Wally, it's not just DVDs in 2024. There will be no more DVDs, period. Everything is streaming now.
So sad.
I remember when the CDs started going bad too. If you remember a scene from Back to the Future 2, they were in an alley and there were these big, huge crates that were tied up of CDs, like they were going away, like they were obsolete. Realized. And it's in the future part of Back to the Future 2. They're walking down the alley, and if you look at the floor, there's big crates of just CDs. And I'm like, man, someday CDs might be gone. Yeah. even DVDs, go
cable. I feel like is right around the corner too.
Yeah,
I feel within 5 to 10 years there won't be any regular cable.
I mean, having the media in your hand was something, though. A CD, a tape, an album, even DVDs and VHSs of wrestling back in the day. I collected them. I had a dozen of them.
I never got rid of my DVD collection. My wrestling DVD collection. I got rid of the other stuff, but the wrestling stuff I kept because I feel like I was the WWE network before the WWE network. Yeah. I could have sworn 3 years ago they said, "Oh, we're not putting out any more DVDs," but they're still putting them out for WWE. It's crazy. And even AEW now, they put all theirs out through Pro Wrestling Tees and shopaew.com, but they're only doing their live events. They're not doing any documentaries or anything yet. But yeah, it sucks. I was in Best Buy recently, and it's like a cardboard stand-up of 12 movies.
They upped their horror toy game. I'll give them that.
I still got hundreds and
Blaze, I bet you I know your favorite VHS in your collection.
Pretty Woman.
Debbie
Boner Jams 99.
Oh my.
That's right behind Debbie Does Dallas. But yeah,
I love Debbie Does Dallas. Totally underrated.
And all the Ron Jeremy flicks, yes.
That's Tad Jarvis's favorite movie.
What a cheerleader, huh?
Speaking of ladies, and one I'm not really a big fan of. I know some people might be. Becky versus Nia Jax.
You hate her.
I can't fucking stand Nia Jax.
I don't mind her. I don't mind her at all.
I talked about this a couple weeks ago, seeing why she came back and who is the formidable opponent for Rhea that she's had recently. I'll wait. There really isn't anyone. So I think if they build her up as the monster and have her face her at some point in time, I see why they brought her back. I still can't fucking stand her.
Hear me out. The only reason why we're saying Rhea hasn't had a formidable opponent, it's because of booking.
Yeah. Well, here's Gav always
Right.
Deep Throat is his
Absolutely.
WrestleMania 3. There's another classic.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
together.
What about 86 and still banging? I mean,
There you go.
Wow. Going to the granny porn there. Okay.
yeah.
It's Shazam. I'm done. I saw Shazam. All right, I'm done.
So what do you guys think about this on day one? Is it Becky Lynch's time to get ready? Maybe because we've heard rumors of her and Rhea at Mania, or is Nia going to be that monster? CJ, what do you think?
I think it's Becky's time, but I just want to point out more so on like a personal than a professional level, the transformation that Nia Jax has made is like in fucking insane. Good for her.
Doc, what about you?
I'm going to say this. I think Nia wins. I think Nia wins due to some shenanigans. I think Becky's time comes at the Royal Rumble. I feel that Becky is going to win the Royal Rumble to get that shot and to get that chase. That's just that little added spice to the chase that they've been teasing already on Raw and SmackDown, where they've been face to face, her and Rhea. So I feel like the Royal Rumble is where Becky's going to excel. So I feel like Jax wins this one due to some kind of shenanigans.
There we go. I can finally get to agree with Monstar. He says Nia's mid. But I do have to concur, piggyback off what CJ said. How they've used her since she's come back is much better. Like I said, like a monster. Come in just destroying people. I don't really want to hear her on the mic or anything. I don't care.
I agree with that.
I don't care about her hole or anything, you know. I'm sure we'll hear about her hole sooner or later. But Jason, you've been vocal about, you know, wanting her back and having her as a big part. Tell me why. I mean, elaborate. Give us some feedback.
She's not like most girls, Blaze.
I always used to think the song said "I'm a monster." I didn't know it said that. But she's really not. Yeah, she's really not.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
I love the fact that she's different than the rest. She doesn't look like anybody else on the roster. And when she came back at the Rumble last year, I was like, this is great. And then we didn't see her for 9 months. But like, I just it's needed. It's needed. And you know, the whole jokes, whatever. I'm just glad that she's back. I'm glad she's in with the top of the roster. You know, she's not squashing people at NXT. She's just not squashing the lower level talent. And at this point, I don't even know who is considered lower level female talent on the roster. They're all great.
Well, we got some coming up here, in my opinion, on the next slide. But yeah, I agree. I mean, WWE wrestling in itself has always been about larger than life characters. And I'm just talking about her size. I'm talking about her as a monster, a giant. There's always been those in wrestling. And I don't have anything against her being there. It's not my cup of tea. But we'll see how it goes. Like, I think it's kind of a split. This one could go either way, in my opinion, because of the way both of their careers have been going. So I'm not a big fan of Natalya either. I know she's great. I know CJ's going to get all over me. She's an amazing wrestler.
Christ.
She's not my cup of tea. That's just it.
And that's fine if she's not your cup of tea.
I'm not saying she's a bad wrestler.
Things that you like. Right, exactly. Yeah. All around as a performer and being able to pass on knowledge to people that are maybe in their first few years, and Natalya is number one.
Yeah, I'm just tired of her. That's just me.
So
I want Shayna and Zoe to win this.
I'm actually a fan of. Oh, sorry, go, Jason.
I'm going to agree with you on a little bit, Blaze. I think I got soured on Natalya from like the Total Divas era. However,
part of it. Recently,
I found her more interesting in the ring and on television when she wasn't wearing pink and black. And I don't know. I wonder if, you know, maybe she's playing it too much, you know, but when she didn't wear pink and black, for some reason, I found it more interesting. And, you know, like CJ said, the wealth of knowledge, I mean, she'll have a job the rest of her life.
She should.
Oh, yeah.
Her and TJ have their private gym that they run classes out of in Florida. And look, Tegan Knox needs this because she was another one that I didn't really find that interesting. And as far as Shayna and Zoe, I love it. They're two more that just let them be badasses.
Yes.
Yeah. Shayna, just go back to the old theme music, please. I know it's not her choice.
Thank you.
Yep.
And Gav, I think you couldn't be further from being wrong. Yeah,
you mean kitties or titties? Are you trying to say that?
No, I'm talking.
I know those pictures of Natalia's sister. I don't mind her sister as much.
Yeah,
her
the Lacey Evans vibes.
Yeah, no, that's the farthest.
Well, I think
from
where
the
he's
truth
going
that
with
it could be.
is Nia a wrestling fan, or does she just fit the mold to be able to be a great wrestler?
I'm actually a fan of all 4 of these women. I actually dig Baszler and Stark. I think what can I say about them too? I love Baszler. I wanted to go back to the old music. CJ, my God, you read my mind on that one. Like, I can't. And I mean, I love Tegan Knox. I feel that they should do more of that. I feel bad that she's had such a bad run with health with her leg and everything. But like I said, I kind of like the whole teacher-student thing with her and Natalya. I kind of like the vibe of it. I like to see where it goes. I'd love to see those 2 win the tag titles.
I'd like to see Shayna and Zoe for sure.
They're such badasses. Like, those are 2 girls I don't want to meet in a dark alley, because they look like they legit will whoop most of the dudes as well. Tegan, I want to see them give her some kind of character, something more to her persona. That's, I think, she's a great wrestler. I just want to see them give her more eventually. I like the student teacher type thing. We'll see where it goes.
Hey, Blaze, do you like the student teacher thing that they're doing?
I think it's okay. I think it's okay.
And
it's
Gav,
part of it.
Gav, I've got to apologize. I didn't read that thoroughly before I went off on you. I thought you were talking about Natalya gives off Lacey Evans vibes.
No, Nia,
But I still think that's wrong about Nia.
Yeah, I think he's we don't know. I mean, we don't know. We don't know what's in Nia's, what is she a wrestling fan that loves it, or is she
it's
just
in
someone
her
that fits the
fucking
mold?
family.
Yeah.
I mean, this one. Ooh.
So I love Ivy Nile too. I think she's another one that's a beast. I mean, despite her size, the way she's built, the way they, like a little bulldog or whatever you want to call her. And I mean, this is one of those matches, in my opinion, that can build Ivy Nile up without winning.
The only thing to me you could say about her size is her height, because size-wise, she's
That's
more
what I
put
meant.
together than a lot of people.
Oh, yeah. Yes. I'm just talking about, like, when you put up her against, like, her standing next to Nia. She could fit inside Nia, pause.
Blaze, if you can highlight Crushing Kelly's comment, that is exactly how I feel.
Yeah, that's this type of match. It's a title match where you pretty much know Rhea's not going to lose.
I mean, there's no reason for Ivy to get it. She's not ready, and that's okay.
But beating Rhea down, couple false finishes, for Ivy, and she can't believe it. That's going to do nothing but good for her, in my opinion. What do you think, Jason, about these 2?
I would love the surprise.
Same.
Yeah.
But don't see it happening. Yeah. And, Rhea, people bag on Roman. How many matches has Rhea had this year? Because I don't feel like it's a lot.
Not a ton, because she's had a lot of injuries, so they're picking and choosing where she is placed. So I would agree with you, but she has more, I feel like, of a legitimate excuse than Roman does. And again, that's no fault of Roman.
No. I mean,
Roman's working smarter, not harder.
Exactly.
As
is Rhea, but with different,
little Dynamite Kid inside of her, Hercules Hernandez Ivy Nile. I'm glad they got her up and using her in this capacity, and she's getting some shine there on the first of the year. Now this one, maybe there is something to it. I said it the last couple of weeks. Seth versus CM Punk does not need a championship, in my opinion. There's still someone with a briefcase lingering around too. Drew held the title where there was no fans for how long? I think Drew deserves a world title run. Is this the time? I don't know. Let's start with Jason on this one.
I think again, I love the surprise. I love the surprise of like, oh my God, I did not see that coming. And we don't know what the contract situation is with Drew.
True.
Maybe it's you win the title, you resign, you get the title. Or, sorry, bro, we're not giving you what you want. You're not winning, and this is going to be Drew looking at the lights on his way out.
Just on the Rhea thing before we move on, this is what I was going to get to later on when we talk about some of the awards and stuff. She may not have had a lot of fights, and I agree with you, CJ, but her character development the whole year has been phenomenal.
She's the leader of the Judgment.
Yeah.
I've been saying it from the get-go.
And speaking of character work, I said it last week and the week before too. I love this Drew. This is the Drew I want all the time.
Common sense Drew.
Yeah.
And it's not really like big heel. I mean, he does some heelish stuff, but there's still a lot of people that love him. He's kind of, I don't know if want to use tweener or not. He's just being the best Drew he could be.
Per se.
Yeah. Yep. I dig it. So that's what we got for day one. I'm sure they'll add some more stuff to that. And then the next day we'll have day two. It's actually New Year's Evil. with NXT, and there's 2 matches highlighted. And I don't know what they did to Blair Davenport's eyes, but is she trying to summon the Undertaker or something? That looks horrendous. Looks like she's looking.
It looks like she bought a toy off
hanging
Adam
around,
and Eve, and they got her in mid-climax.
She's hanging around Shawn Michaels too much, and she got his eyes now.
Oh man, come on now.
But this is the women's NXT championship. Lyra Valkyria and Blair Davenport.
Lyra,
Blair, the Blair Witch. I don't know what she is. Doc, what do you think? Do we have a new women's champion here?
I think Davenport wins it.
CJ?
No. Lyra, yeah, they made a big stink about putting her with Becky in all the video packages leading up to it, so it's not going anywhere yet. Too soon.
Okay. All right. What about you, Jason?
Yeah, I think that the Davenport beating up everybody in the parking lot, to bring her back into the picture. But what is the benefit of having Blair Davenport be the women's champ? So Roxanne Perez can beat her next month?
Yeah.
I don't understand why. And Kelly's right here.
Yep.
Let her have a nice run.
Mm-hmm.
Till whatever the WrestleMania weekend show is that they do. I can't remember what it's called, but
WrestleMania
Breaking Point or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Let her keep it until WrestleMania weekend.
Shout out to Will Gardner in the chat as well. Hey, if you guys are enjoying it, you guys like a little wrestling talk, please hit the thumbs up. It's the best way to support the channel. Make sure you're subscribed. And if you're watching this from a replay, leave us a comment so we stopped by. Love getting comments.
Hey, Blaze, real quick, I just got a question for everybody here.
Uh-oh.
Who wants to play?
Oh, geez.
What?
Who wants to
WrestleMania
play?
Monopoly.
Yep.
That could be a stream.
What is what are the pieces?
It's actually pretty I hate to say, I don't want to say generic, but they're not like the pewter. They're like
they're plastic.
Yeah, they're like
instead of having metal. What's Park Place and Boardwalk? Is it like WrestleMania and SummerSlam or something?
Something in Stamford, Connecticut, maybe.
Or
there's still free parking. There's still go fast lane.
So it's pay-per-views instead of
There's gyms.
You're buying medical facility.
You have to roll your dice inside the ring, but it's
not bad.
My stepmother got me this.
Doc, what are the pieces?
Yeah, what are the pieces?
Like
it's not the car, it's not the thimble, it's not the
the pieces are Roman, Rock, Bianca, Cena, Rhodes, and Lynch.
Nia Jax, is she one of them?
She is not.
Well, she's not like most girls.
Straight to jail. Do not
visit her in jail. Her and Nails.
I have an NBA-opoly one where they did NBA Monopoly, so they do Monopoly for everything.
I thought that was really cool, though. So I
saw a Monongahela-opoly. No joke.
Yeah, there's one.
Oh, okay.
There's one of
that.
Pittsburgh one I've had too.
There is a Fayette County one out there.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Yeah, God help us all.
Ilya and Trick Williams. I'm kind of in the same spot here. I think Ilya he's one of my favorite NXT. I think he deserves a longer run. I'm not sure if anyone thinks it's Trick's time. Yeah.
The only way I would say it goes to Trick is if Ilya is going up to the main roster, which I feel like he's more than ready, but I would like to also see him with a longer title run.
So while we're on that little subject, I know we're going to get into the Rumble more when we get closer to it, but along with who you think will win this match, let me know who you think will end up showing up in the Rumble from NXT. I pretty much think it got to be Braun Breaker, in my opinion. I don't know. Doc, do you have any thoughts on NXT, the winner of this, and who might show up at Rumble?
I think you're going to see Mello again.
No.
No or yes?
I said, okay, Mello, that'd be good.
I think Dragunov keeps it. I think you let him run a little bit more. The Trick Williams, I don't think he's ready to be stepped up yet. But then again, I'm not the one calling NXT. So
I just still find it funny that they got people chanting "Whoop that trick."
Yeah, that's
that's a good.
That's the gimmick, man.
Yeah.
Everybody knows it.
I know, but if you take it literally, I mean, are we beating up women? Because that's what whipping a trick means back in the day.
Dudes can be tricks too.
Yeah,
I know. Trick's pimp hand is strong. Leave him alone.
Whoop them, Trick. I get the play on words. Trust
his
me.
bitches got lippy, so he had to tell him to make him a sandwich or something.
Oh,
like
Jesus,
on Dave
of course.
Chappelle.
Yeah.
Give me a sandwich, Dave.
What about you, Jason? The match and any NXT that you guys will see that you'll think you'll see in Rumble?
I don't see a title change. And as far as the Rumble, like, I think we get Tiffany Stratton. I think we get a returning Wendy Chu, who is one of my favorites.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And I hope she keeps like the sleeping thing, because that just makes me laugh so much. I think for the men, maybe Tony D'Angelo.
Oh, I like that.
I would dig that.
Breaker.
I think that's just too obvious.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love to see these guys. Andre Chase, he's going through a tough time right now. And I think he's going to need the payday to handle his debt. So getting that out of the Rumble would definitely help him out.
And now, not like the old days, being in the Rumble doesn't mean you're getting called up. It could just mean you're getting a little more shine for NXT. So there could be two different ways that we could see people coming up. So New Year's Evil, we'll see next week if there are any title changes. Doesn't look like there will be, but hey, I love surprises. Let's talk about the Continental Classic. Let's talk about the version of the G1. I've told some people that have stopped watching AEW. I said, don't take my word for it, but go back and watch some of these Continental Classics.
The Continental Classic's been great. And I won't go into my rant yet. But
I got the screenshot for last night that you can rant on. But
yeah,
if you look back at all the matches, I don't see a bad match in any of these. I mean, we talked about the 12 people throw a dart at the wall and have two of them fight. And the way this Gold League ended up, we did get Moxley versus Swerve versus Jay White. And we talked about it last week with White beating Moxley. I kind of saw Moxley getting the win and Swerve not being able to get in there in time to make the save. And then on the other side, and we'll talk about the match individually with the show, you got that tie that actually ended up hurting Claudio and did dissension with him afterwards with Brian. And so it's Danielson. Kingston got the nod over Andrade. And to me, the story of Eddie Kingston has been told really well.
Agreed.
And I think that's the sum of this. He lost the first couple, and you're thinking, how's he going to come back? Those promos that he did in the back were fire. And I've talked about how I think Eddie's one of the best on the mic. He's so natural with it that I am a big tournament guy. I know some people say there's too many, but I love tournaments. This was a unique one. I think not having anybody at ringside or interference was big. That's one difference that Tony talked about on his call earlier today, that he said that why it was a little different than the G1, that he did take influence from the G1 and everything. And someone did bring up a question with the success of the G1. Will you have a women's Continental Classic next year? And he kind of dodged the question right away. He didn't answer it. He just went back.
He's got to start booking the women better first before.
Well, he brought that up several times in the call, that is one of his focuses in the new year, is to continue to enhance the women's division. I'll believe it when I see it.
Right.
I'm just like a lot of people, we don't see it that much.
Okay? Are there 12 women in AEW?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm sure there's 12, but I'm sure there's not 12 that are worthy of a tournament.
Yeah, it wouldn't be as good as this. He would be putting himself in a hole if he's like, hell yeah, sure, we're going to bring one next year.
Right.
He's still focused on All In freaking London. So, and I know a lot of people, the thing is to dig on Tony and everything, but the way he handles those press conferences, I think, is very businesslike, and he has a plan.
Yeah,
all these people that say Tony doesn't have a booking crew, it's all his decision. Fucking pay attention, people. He has Dean Malenko. He has Brian. He has a lot of people that are helping him book shows.
Chris Hero.
Yeah, Hero. And there's a whole team behind the scenes. Just because they're not coming out to social media and telling you, people draw their own conclusions. I just think it's time to give this product another try. They're trying to reset some stuff. They're doing things a little bit different. Was this year a banner year for them? No. Do you want to? You focus on the show last night, which was New Year's Smash. There was no empty cam side. The place was fucking packed. So maybe things will start to change. I don't know. I still think, as we talked about, smaller arenas is a way to go, but you plan things 6, 8, 10 months ahead. So we'll see how it goes. As far as last night, we did get the triple threat, and we got the singles match for the finals. We got the masked men, which we'll talk about here in a second in the main event. But as a whole, I enjoyed the show. CJ, you didn't really like it as much.
I liked the 2 Continental Classic matches. I was okay with the Mariah May stuff. That segment with Don Callis and Sammy Guevara was fucking brutal, dude. Fucking brutal. A waste of good TV time, in my opinion. And I was okay with Swerve not winning, obviously, especially since he wasn't the one pinned. But why go back to him and Keith Lee again? That ship has fucking sailed. They didn't strike while the iron was fucking hot.
They never finished the story. They never had the match.
It's been a year, so who gives a fuck at this point? They should have did it back then when it was the fucking relevant.
When people was
no
invested.
Longer relevant.
I get that, but Keith has been talking about him. He's going after someone, and it just happened to be that someone else came by and he said, "Sure, I'll fight you." But Keith Lee's been teasing this for months.
And if Samoa Joe is the devil, that to me is a fucking letdown. If it's him working
Tony
along
said
with
on the
the
call
devil,
today, he's not.
Okay.
He said today he's not.
Yeah.
He was working with them, but he's not
But
the devil.
and I like that. That's what they're making people maybe think that it's him. But I don't know. In the Masked Men, I knew he was going to lose the tag titles, but I don't know. I think they need to accentuate more on the positives in AEW and shy away from people's like where they lack, and just focus more on their strong suits.
As far as the Callis thing goes, I agree. I'm not making an excuse for it. But one thing Tony Khan did say today in his call as well was that they had to change a lot of stuff because of Omega being out. So that was thrown together the last couple days. Now, that's not excuse for it still being shitty, but I'm just saying that was thrown together, and that 8-man tag that we're going to talk about was just thrown together because you can't replace a Kenny Omega. It's exactly what Tony says. So we had to do something completely different. Doc?
I gotta make a quote here. It was kind of crazy. I was playing that game. I played the Fight Forever game last night with my son, and he said, "Hey, Dad, do you think maybe this is karma?" And I said, "What are you talking about?" And in the game,
yes,
I thought it was kind of, and Jason, me both kind of talked about this, that the Brock Lesnar finisher, F5, they named it diverticulitis.
Yeah, diverticulitis
on the game, and then that's exactly what Omega now has. I'm just saying maybe we should make a joke because it could bite you right in the ass.
Yeah. Jason, your thoughts on all this?
Okay, so I loved the Continental Classic. I was down on AEW for a long time. This is like a change of direction. However, Mark Briscoe, Jay White, Daniel Garcia, those matches, anytime they were in, I didn't care. Turned it off. I love the Mox Eddie Kingston story. I love the Mox promo after the match. But for me, when this thing started, I would have loved to have seen Brody King get the W.
Thank you.
And the whole thing.
Thank you.
I'm a big fan of Brody King, and I just think that there's nothing like him in AEW. So moving forward with this tournament, I mean, I think Kingston has to win, right?
Yeah, because if you watch the backstage promo after him and Danielson last night, he talks a lot about mental demons. Yeah. And Brian was one of the guys that he's never been able to beat, and Mox is on the same. The right move to me is having Kingston win.
It's a Cinderella story in a way.
I love the promos. And he goes, "Hey, Greg, that's my outline."
Yeah, that was classic. That was so good. It seems so natural, like he's just talking. That's the way he is. But you brought up a good point.
Because he is, really.
Yeah. With the Jay White and the Garcia, because someone had to lose, unfortunately, out of those 12. So it did lose interest in a couple of those matches. When you saw those guys, you're thinking, they're not going to make it. These other guys are.
These are fillers.
Yeah, I think Jay White gets his time eventually. He's been taking a lot of L's, but I think he's got to get his time in some capacity, hopefully soon. And Garcia, he's going to be a superstar. But
I'm biased. I'm biased since I've worked with him. He's so fucking solid.
And I mean, I think he's come a long way this year, Garcia, and I think he should get a lot more shine in the future too. Maybe that could be like the finals of next year's Continental Classic. Who knows? But I agree with you, Jason. There was some matches where you kind of got a feeling of how it was going to go. But I like to take us as big time fans or workers in the industry, people that have worked. take yourself out of that picture and just try to be a casual fan and see that,
I don't think I could do that.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I try to do that for like the kids watching or those who aren't internet marks trying to see. They might have not have drawn that much of a conclusion with like the Continental Classic stuff that we have, but I do agree. Yeah. Good, Doc.
Well, my opinion on the event, I was all about Swerve. I was. I'm not going to sit here, but I kind of had a bad feeling that they weren't going to push it, just for the simple fact is a lot of people were expecting Swerve at this point. I do like what they did with it, but I will say when it comes to the last match, now with these Devil's Masked men, do we see a conclusion at World's End?
Yes.
Do we see the mask?
You have to.
Off?
You have to.
Yes.
I hope. I don't want to push this any further. Hold on.
It's run its course.
Just give me a second.
Tony alluded to that today too. Good. You got to finish your thought, bro.
No, it's just the simple fact is I feel like with all this that's being done, is it time to present somebody new, or do you actually have the mask on? It's obvious. A lot of people are thinking it's Adam Cole. Now, do you push that limit, or do you go a little bit further, which I think CJ's the one that said it. And CJ, correct me if I'm wrong. You said something about maybe Britt Baker doing all this, like Britt Baker being.
I mentioned it last week too.
I said I would be okay with it. It wasn't me that came up with that. I still believe it is Adam Cole, but
okay. But that's at the end. That's in that video. Pleasure doing business with you. Kind of like how they did that. Like, here, you could have the title. I want to make this guy's life a living hell. So it could be anybody at this point, and that's the crazy thing. And they throw so many curveballs at you with all the different promos. Wardlow snatching him up.
Yep.
Adam Cole being his his brochacho or whatever. And just say Roderick Strong. What he's doing. Oh, it's MJF's the devil. So like I said, there's so many curveballs that they're throwing right now.
I love the idea of Britt Baker.
I do too.
Technical guys, but here's a little twist to it. I was thinking about today. I think about this shit way too much.
We get bored in our profession.
So Britt Baker is the leader with FTR and Wardlow. I was going to say Spears, but reports came out he's leaving January 1st.
Yeah.
Okay. Fine.
Rumble number 10.
Britt takes the mask off. All hell breaks loose, whatever. Adam Cole doesn't know that it's Britt Baker for about a month. And then all of a sudden, somehow they make that he was in on it the whole time.
Yeah.
So you have Britt leading because she's slighted. She was the first woman signed to AEW. She was not considered one of the pillars, but yet she was the one that outshined a lot of those guys who were. So that's her reason for going after MJF. And then, of course, the Adam Cole stuff. Wardlow, FTR, Adam Cole, Britt Baker. Run with that for a year. Yeah. MJF is still the good guy. He's still their scumbag. But that's how you do it. At least I would love to see that. But I think it's going to be boring. It's going to be generic. It's going to be Adam Cole. And all of what I just said was pointless.
No, I don't think what you said was pointless.
No, we talked about that last week. That it would be nice if that crew comes back against him.
My favorite part of that match, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that recognized this, is the finish. They hit MJF with his own move. Yeah, I enjoyed that. He calls it the heat seeker, I think.
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
See, I'm the guy since they started showing the masked people more that I'm really looking at him close, trying to figure out if that's who it is, because I'm sticking to Sean Ross Sapp and Fightful's report that from day one, those main four are going to be the four that unmasked. Now, I know this is pro wrestling, and they threw 12 of them at us last week, so I was like, holy shit. But, I mean, it looks like that could be Taven and Bennett. And with Kyle O'Reilly coming back, I don't know if they would want Bobby Fish back, but they all have ties.
There was one guy last night that in the outline of the face in the mask, it looked like the Butcher's mustache.
See, that's another one because the one guy's kind of big.
Butcher and Blade, why not? They have nothing going on right now.
Yeah.
Plus, they're pissed off because they could say they've been neglected by AEW management for any kind of tag team.
Well,
I mean, it writes its own story. I like that.
The two things I heard from Fightful was one, the who gets unmasked are the people who have been playing it. So that takes Ziggler, Ali and all those guys out of it, in my opinion. The second thing is he said that there were reports from people within that they are all associated with MJF. They all have beef with MJF. So hopefully it's going to make sense who this group is.
Well,
if it is the Righteous or some of the grizzled young veterans or somebody.
Yes, but thinking outside of the box, literally any person in AEW that isn't MJF could have beef with MJF.
I mean, yeah, because he's a champ and all that, but I'm thinking that have had on the air problems.
Right. I got you.
Would make sense. But I've said this a million times. I love to be surprised. What if we're completely wrong? Last week I said, what if it was CJ Perry and she brought Andrade and Miro and all the ex-WWE guys together and they were the devils? And they did the
actually it makes sense because if you think about it in that promo, his pipe bomb. Remember when MJF did his pipe bomb? What did he say? He said, "I love it. You said this was a place for us, but you're hiring all these old ex WWE guys." He literally just blurted out. Could you imagine like the promo just showing up? It goes dark, and that line, and they kept repeating it. Boom, lights come on. There's the devil. Boom.
That's how brilliant I think MJF is, in my opinion, thinking long term like that. But the problem with that is your atypical or your casual fan. I don't think, and this is no offense, I don't think they're able to put those pieces together to understand how that actually would make sense.
So the bottom line is the fact that we don't know. And something that Sean Ross Sapp also pointed out last night is, why is that D so big in Masked Men? Why is it supposed to be an eye this way? Is it something to it, or is that just really weird? Why they made
looks
that
like
D?
a turnbuckle.
Like, why is the D so big? So we don't know who it is.
I'll tell you, his D is not big as me. Fuck.
Well, shit.
But could this angle have been done better? I'm sure we could find things that can be done better. But I think hopefully the payoff is some kind of surprise, something going forward. But it should happen at this show that we're about to talk about, and that's World's End.
CJ, I have one of those machines too.
Yeah, you were showing me. Yeah.
So the first thing that was announced the other day is a 20-man battle royal for a TNT title shot at any time.
They added like 2 or 3 other matches last night, I think.
Yeah, there's 10 total right now that are up there. There will be 14 or 15 by the time Saturday comes. So
over Monday morning,
for it.
For Christ's sake.
It's a Saturday. It's a Saturday. So whatever.
Year's end.
So, I mean, they teased FTR versus House of Black. That was never made. That could happen. The one that I can't take credit for, Alex Pawlowski last night on Fightful said this: Orange Cassidy comes out and does an open challenge, right, for his title, the international title. There's a man named Mustafa Ali who just announced he's going on an international tour.
Fucking jacked.
So he has 12 dates already booked, international, all around the world. What better person to come down and take the title off of Orange and take it around the world with him would be Ali.
Rick Boogs.
Kind of cool.
Yeah,
Boogs would be cool too.
My name's Rick.
But is there any names that pop out? I mean, you got to think either Adam Copeland or Christian's going to have the TNT title. Is there any names that pop out to any of you guys for this battle royal maybe coming out, Jay?
I think Mark Briscoe wins this.
That's a good call. He deserves more.
He has nothing going on.
Yep.
I like that.
I thought him and FTR would be going for the trios. I thought that would happen at some point.
I don't know. I don't even know who are the trios champions right now.
It's Acclaimed.
Acclaimed. He still got the pink belt.
Where the hell have they been?
Yeah.
But they've been doing Rampage, so that's where they've been.
Santa brought Bodie an Acclaimed shirt, the Acclaimed every Wednesday shirt. So
Jack Perry's someone saying Jack Perry come out. He's got to be the biggest heel when he comes back. He's got to be a heel when he comes back. You're going to have to hate him. You know
what I think for Jack Perry? I think if it's him, it's a letdown because I feel like he needs to shine on his own before he's put into a spot that will elevate him to where I feel like he needs to get better on his own and not just have things handed to him, if that makes sense.
I feel like if you're going to bring Jack Perry back, you bring him back. You bring back the Jungle Boy thing. You bring back him getting.
He's evil now. He's going to be as evil as possible. He's going to be his dad.
I hate Luchasaurus being bad.
You know, they should cut his iconic hair. Is what we should do.
Hair versus hair match. He should do a hair versus hair match.
I like that.
It'll grow back.
It's iconic.
It'll grow back.
He's fucking young enough. It'll grow back.
Yeah. FT, speaking of young, FTW Championship, Wheeler Yuta versus Hook. Doc, what do you think's going to happen in this one?
I feel Hook wins. Bottom line, I feel that he's going to lay that choke in. It's going to be a back and forth, though, but Hook wins.
Jay?
So there's a guy on my show, Joe. And
you hate Joe. We know you hate Joe.
Yeah, I hate Joe.
Fuck
but he did
guy.
say something once that actually made sense. He said that he feels that Wheeler Yuta is going to be like Randy Orton for AEW. Interesting comparison, and I'm kind of buying it.
Evil Jungle Man.
As far as this, like the FTW championship isn't a recognized championship.
No,
so who cares? Like, I think, look, yeah, who even has this title? Is it Hook?
Yeah.
So he's gonna win. It's done.
I don't see Yuta having 2 championships because they're going to have someone that's going to win 3 later on tonight.
Yep.
I like both of these guys, but I have zero interest whatsoever in this match.
Yeah, this one was kind of thrown together. No build that much. I mean, they have a little bit of history. What's up, Triple Beat, my brother? Good to see you. So, yeah, and an FTW championship, that is one they could get rid of. It doesn't really do anything. You guys showed your discontent with the match finally happened. I'm glad it's happening. I think this is how Swerve gets back on track. You got to give him a big win after losing in the tournament. And that's how I feel.
I don't think Swerve has been off track. I think this takes away from Swerve's fucking track, but he didn't get pinned.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He didn't get pinned.
I know. And that's the way I thought it would happen. But, I mean, we're all thinking Swerve takes the victory here.
Yeah.
He's got to put him over.
If he loses to Keith Lee, Doc has to shave his goatee.
Oh, I'm into it. I'm into it.
An iconic situation.
I'll jump in on that bet. If
another one of his
Keith Lee, I'll shave my beard.
Thrown together here, and Miro. I love his promos too. Give me more Miro, please. In my opinion, I really love his Redeemer and how he cuts promos. And it's just, it kind of reminds me, not exactly, but the way the Iron Sheik would talk sometimes. He would just be like, hey, you, I'm going to beat you. Just something real dumb.
He's mad at God. I love when he's mad at God. Yeah. Cracks me up. He's like that bitchy cousin. He's like, I can't believe you let me lose again.
Everybody think this is Miro's?
I don't.
You think Andrade gets the win here?
I'd like to see Andrade.
I mean, it's got to further the CJ Perry story, in my opinion, somehow. So
I feel like he's fueled by jealousy. That's why I feel like Miro's going to get this, but I feel like at the end there's going to be some kind of, I don't know.
These guys need more time. They haven't been, in my opinion, they haven't got enough shine over there that they deserve. They're 2 great workers. So I'm thinking these guys really should put on a great match.
This should be on Rampage.
This was just thrown together.
This should be on Rampage.
Like there'll be 4 more.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. So this is Saturday. What are they doing with Collision?
It's
Is it on Saturday night? Is it before or
no? I don't think they have a Collision at all. I'm not sure. I didn't look
either. No Collision at all, or it's.
I haven't seen a match card or none. I think this just takes
Collision be Friday, like they do that 3-hour block. Maybe
I don't know.
Here, they always do a show after Rampage 2 that'll be like the road leading to World's End.
This is a Rampage match. Should not be a pay-per-view. I will go to the bathroom at that point.
Now, this is the one we just talked about. Got thrown together because of Kenny Omega's illness. I thought it was going to be a triple threat for the tag titles, but then they threw in Hobbs and Fletcher, who I love Fletcher. I think he's great for the TV title in ROH. I think he deserves the shine, but now it's kind of like Callis family verse. And I'm a huge Sting mark, so getting him on the show, this is like Tony Khan said earlier today, New York's probably their last opportunity to see Sting. And I'll take as much Sting as you can give me until he retires because he's one of my all-time favorites.
No Collision this week.
No.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Okay, so here's the question. Do you think this is a setup to have Jericho and Sting and that be the last time, the last match for Sting?
No.
I think that's a terrible last match.
I've heard that
too, but I
don't want it to be.
I'm trying to put pieces together in this, and
why not? I think this is just a couple of guys that they wanted to get on a show, and they threw that together.
Yes, but I loving
Sammy's quick heel face turn. I blinked.
I can't fucking stand that motherfucker.
They're starting to compare him to Big Show now with so many heel face turns.
Oh my god!
And I love what Ricky Starks and Big Bill are doing. I really think they're entertaining. I like them on the mic.
Yeah.
And I think this should have. I would have made this a tag title match. Somehow.
This is another one I could care less about. I'm sorry, but not sorry.
Everybody needs to be on a pay-per-view.
Yeah, and here's the finish of the story, the Continental Classic final. Eddie Kingston put his titles up on the line. Moxley's been that guy he can't beat. Will he finally, he's got to try to beat Moxley now. They had a little face-off, which I really enjoyed at the end of the show, at the end of their match, I should say. And, I mean, there's going to be blood. There's going to be chest chops to the end of the world here. Who goes over, Jay? Is it Eddie's day, or is John Moxley going to be your Continental Classic champ?
I mean, I feel like it has to be Eddie Kingston. And I hope it's Eddie Kingston because I like Eddie Kingston a lot. I've met him twice, and I met him the first time in Chicago with Doc a couple years back, and we talked about hip hop. And then a few months later, I met him on the Jericho Cruise last year, and I said, "Hey, man, I met you in Chicago a couple months." He goes, "Yeah, hip hop, right?" So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
I just think he's a breath of fresh air because nobody is like him.
No.
So
I agree.
I thought it was weird. He put up his belts. Kind of a weird thing, but whatever. And do we know, has it been said, like, is it a third title? Like, you're going to be the Continental Classic title? Like you can defend it, or is this going to be like the Owen Hart titles?
They haven't cleared that up. All I've heard is there'll be another Continental Classic. Does he defend it all year? Now, I did hear that the other two will be defended singly, so it's not like but it's a triple. They're going off the Triple Crown that was in Japan and all that. That's happened before, so they just want to have a Triple Crown. I mean, Eddie. The weird thing is when we looked up championships when this started, and we went over all 12 competitors and the titles they held. These are the only two titles that Eddie Kingston's ever had. And he gave them up for this. So that story, should come to a conclusion. Doc, do you concur Eddie taking the belts?
I do. I want to see Eddie do it. But the Moxley thing kind of throws me off a little bit because the simple fact is, and I'm sorry I used that term again, but
he's working on it.
Here's where I kind of am like on a standstill in this is Moxley big in Japan also. Moxley could take those titles easily and go defend them. If you sat there and you looked at, no disrespect like to Brody King, but Brody King doesn't get out as much as Moxley when it comes to like the New Japan and that area. However, Moxley's becoming a staple, you could say. Not really, a staple. He's been there, he's wrestled, he's held titles. So this is where you kind of say, does Kingston keep it, or does he drop these titles and then Moxley goes off to Japan and kind of takes his own little, I don't want to say break, but kind of break from AEW?
I mean, that guy still has that vacation from the whole CM Punk nonsense.
Yeah, I know. He never got that vacation. Now, keep in mind, the New Japan Strong title is not a Japanese title. It's an American
title.
It's a
U.S.
It's a U.S. title. But to have him go over, you're right, Doc. I agree. And CJ, you on the same page?
Yeah, Kingston.
I think it's got to be Eddie, and I forget who I was talking with this. To this about last night. One of my favorite things about Eddie is that he steers directly into who he is, and he's probably one of the realest motherfuckers ever. And I like the fact that he doesn't look like your typical body guy or whatever wrestler. However, I do wish he would get into a little bit of better shape. And that's not picking.
Comes and goes. Yeah. Sometimes he looks a little better.
Has he ever been to IWC?
Oh, yeah. That's how I know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was at IWC a lot whenever Norm ran it.
Got it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Be interesting to see how it ends. He deserves it. Julia Hart, I think, has been doing a phenomenal job to see Abaddon come back. It's a nice, formidable opponent, I think, but I still think Julia, kind of the same as we were talking about the NXT titles. She needs a longer title run. This is a nice win for her, in my opinion. Anybody see Abaddon winning it as we move forward?
I have totally changed my tune
on Abaddon. Oh, on Julia. Okay.
Yeah, like she was just the girl with the House of Black.
Oh, she's fucking phenomenal.
Now everything is so much better with her.
Yeah, agreed.
I'm excited. I don't think she loses. I mean, there's no reason to lose. I don't really get the Abaddon thing, but I still love what Julia Hart has turned into.
Yeah. Can't wait to see what. I like the fact that you have Abaddon's kind of the symbol of macabre, evil, and it's kind of this shows. Oh, maybe this is the challenge that Julia Hart needs. I still think Julia Hart overcomes it. However, I feel like with tutelage of Malachi Black, Brody King, Matthews, all that stuff she did with House of Black, it's like it's showing that she got educated on that, and she's pursuing this in the ring right now. She's like performing at just a max level.
She's come into her own, in my opinion, this year, big time. And there's another lady who's also got her character right and got. Well, we'll get to her in a little bit. Toni Storm.
Like, wait a minute.
I was just going to mention Toni Storm as well. Toni and her both really got into their characters. Yeah. So Cage and Copeland. Doc, what do you think?
Copeland. It's time to put the nail in the coffin on this TNT Championship reign.
CJ?
Honestly, if this is me booking it, I'd like it to go back and forth, hard hitting, with maybe like, we'll see. I didn't see that it was a no DQ, but I was going to say some sort of like no finish for them to finally like get back together and do tag. I'm more concerned about that than this little singles. I've said time and time again, I feel like Christian is doing the best work of his career, but this just isn't hitting for me like I thought it would. I'm sorry.
This should have been a cage match to me, because the whole idea is to keep Christian Cage's people out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like it's going to keep going, which I'm not mad at. I mean, eventually I'd like to see him tag against some tag teams in AEW as well. But I mean, Jack Perry comes back and joins Christian Cage, helps him. I mean, no DQ just screams something shenanigans is happening. Where are you at on it, Jason?
I never thought about the tag team stuff CJ just said. However, selfishly, because I'm a prick, in about a month, I'm going on the Jericho cruise. Bully Ray's going to be there. Devon's going to be there.
Love it.
The Hardys, I'm hoping, are there. And I'm hoping these two are here because I want a TLC ladder match that only 2,000 people in the boat are going to get to see.
Yeah.
But I don't think we're going to get that. With this one, I'm not feeling it at all.
Yeah.
I know Christian Cage is doing amazing things. It's not for me. I actually hope Christian retains.
Mm-hmm.
Why does Adam Copeland need the TNT Championship? He doesn't.
He doesn't.
So I love the idea of the team up again. I wish they would have put some sort of stipulation, like if Christian wins, Copeland's his bitch for 60 days or whatever. Like,
or if Edge wins, they have to tag together or something.
Something like that. It's going to end up. You'd think it has to. I just hope they can get it before. I don't want anybody to get hurt.
The way that match ended on Dynamite a couple weeks ago, I think it
was bad.
It ruined it.
It was bad.
I figured something like that was going to happen. I didn't know it would be her, but with them beating up her son the week before, it kind of made sense in a way. But yes, I agree.
She's just not good as an entertainer.
They could have her in there in the group, but she didn't need to be focused that much. I kind of agree.
Well, she should have just went straight in and went straight for fucking Edge from the get-go.
Now we can
and not tried to play it off like she wasn't going to.
Yeah. Now we can talk about Toni Storm, timeless Toni Storm. Riho, we talked about it last week. A lot of people underestimate her because of her size, but she's definitely a great worker. She's been a champ before. I'm on the same boat as the other ones. I do not see Riho winning this right now. Tony's too hot.
I don't think we need to get more way. Like that. There's no reason for Toni Storm to lose the title right now. She's the hottest thing they have right now.
Yeah. Agreed.
The whole match should be black and white.
It might be.
I would love that.
It very well might be.
I hope they bring back Turner Classic Movie Guy again.
That was really good.
That was really good.
How awesome that was.
I definitely see them playing into that gimmick a lot more into 2024.
And I told you who a lot of that stuff came from, right?
Yeah, you did.
Mr. RJ City, baby.
And if you haven't watched the Danhausen Christmas version of AEW that just aired last Sunday, I laughed my ass off. I love Danhausen. And for a while, I didn't get it. But, man, I love that guy now. So go watch AEW when you're done. watching this show because
there was so much criticizing with Orange Cassidy and Danhausen, but I was willing. I didn't know them that well.
If you don't
beforehand.
get it, you don't get it.
No, and that's okay. But they finally had time to work the gimmicks and do things. And we've talked about Orange being one of the most fightingest champions of this damn year. That's for damn sure.
Is
but
Danhausen one of the best wrestlers? Probably not.
But he's a great character.
But guess what? I've said this is probably like beating a dead fucking horse. Less is more.
Yeah. So in this match, MJF has a partially torn labrum. He's probably, if he's not having surgery, he's probably going to be on the shelf for a while. So he's not in top shape. He has his shoulder all taped up in the match too. But at the same time, it seems like we're going to get a title change. Now,
you have to.
Joe is the perfect guy to do it, in my opinion. He deserves it.
And you know the reason why you have to?
Because MJF's going to WWE?
No, because MJF wants you to think that he really hasn't re-signed yet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they could sell the shit out of that. And I think we do get the reveal of who the devil is in this match. We'll see how. Doc, you kind of feel like Samoa Joe walking out with the title too?
100% Samoa Joe is your new AEW champion on Saturday.
But Kingston's a hometown boy. If Kingston walks away with it, MJF has had his big win in his hometown already. So I can see Samoa Joe.
MJF doesn't need it in his hometown. MJF is going to be MJF regardless of titles, regardless of anything.
Yep. So,
but if you consider a way to piss off the fans too, and have that just have the heat emanating from that building, you have the devil screw him right then and there, and that crowd is going to go ape shit. And I'm talking, there's going to be stuff flying in the ring.
Doc, I don't think that they're going to be as upset as you think.
Long
Island's like MJF County. I mean, my God, when CM Punk was at his highest, Long Island was not the place for CM Punk. If you think about it, CM Punk was a heel that one time a year, whenever they'd be in Long Island. I mean, hell, he even put Hook over at the end when the cameras went off. He had Hook sink him in and everything because he would make fun of the Islanders and put over his Blackhawks and stuff like that. They had fun.
Yeah, I hate cheap.
I also heard Tony Khan could be the devil too, which would be
swerve.
Oh yeah,
I heard that one too from a few people. But to me, the whole devil reveal is exposing MJF for who he really is.
Whoa,
that would be a crazy one.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, right.
But I mean, the guessing is the half of the fun of it because we don't know, and we'll see what happens.
I hope that I'm completely wrong on who I think it is. Besides Adam Cole.
Yeah. Baby. All right. So it's the end of the year. We're gonna get to end of the year awards. I only picked 6 of them, so we'll breeze through this real quick. The first
these
two
are our choices, or are we
no?
picking?
These are from No DQ. I changed one, and I'll tell you which one I changed. I just picked because they had 6, so it's kind of concise. If it's someone that you think off the list,
but obviously I could be the asshole me if I don't agree and tell you who I think, right?
Yes, these are not listed in any order. They're just 6 names of who could win. To me, the first 2 are gimmies, but we'll see if you guys concur. The first category is Breakout Wrestler of the Year. I think I know because CJ already said earlier that Dom could probably be the Breakout Wrestler of the Year. In my opinion, as well as Julia Hart's done, Swerve is coming to his own mostly at the end of the year. Tiffany was most at the beginning of the year. And Willow's phenomenal.
I'd argue Swerve shouldn't be even in this category. He's not had the breakout. He's been always that good.
Right. Yeah. Willow's been phenomenal, but there's not enough eyes on her, in my opinion. LA Knight is
same with LA Knight. Same as the Swerve treatment.
Yeah, but he's risen to where we didn't know if he would get that. So LA Knight, I think if you're going to ask the everyday fans out there, 1 million of them, I think LA Knight would probably get the nod in this. Jason, where do you sit?
I mean, so I'm going to plug my show tomorrow morning. That Wrestling Podcast, we have their 3rd annual Twippy Award Show. Comes out 7 a.m. Eastern on podcast platforms and on our YouTube channel at That Wrestling Podcast. I got ridiculed for one of our categories, Moment of the Year, and I picked Dom Mysterio's entrance at WrestleMania.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
Moment of the Year. And Brian Christie, who is our host, so is like, appalled, offended that I even went there.
Because he doesn't get it.
No, I love everything Dom Mysterio has done this year.
Yep.
I even bought the White Judgment Day shirt because I love it. I love what this guy has done. I saw him in Canton last month at a live event, and even at the live events, the boos came out. So it's not just,
piped in crowd noise.
Yeah. Out of these 6, look, CJ nailed it. Swerve and LA Knight, they ain't break out from nothing. They finally just got a chance.
Yeah.
Julia Hart potential. Tiffany Stratton, she hasn't really done anything yet. So Dom Mysterio all the way. And I know I've talked a lot, and I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. Doc, what do you think?
Mysterio, 100%. There's Jason did.
I mean,
did work for me.
And that's why we have banter, we have debate, because to me, at first, I was like, I didn't want it to be Dom, but in hindsight, looking at Swerve and Knight have been established for a long time.
Well, it wasn't Dom, right? I don't think.
What?
On one of the awards, I think Julia Hart won Breakout Wrestler of the Year. Maybe it was the ESPN or something, but yeah.
Yeah, there was one that already put out their awards. These hadn't been done yet. They just had nominations. But
okay.
But I see where you guys are definitely coming from. All right, best comeback? To me, how can you not pick CM Punk as the best comeback? We talked about the shocking moment last week, the most shocking moment since we started this show 100 episodes ago.
I mean,
it was Vince.
Good. I'm sorry.
It was Vince selling the company. It was CM Punk to AEW, CM Punk. It was Edge to AEW. But I think the CM Punk returning, and hell froze over, for fuck's sake, people.
This should be a 2-person category, Punk and Orton. But I agree, it's got to be Punk.
Yeah. I tell you what, though, Billy Gunn, for what he's done at his age, I give him a lot of credit for still being able to do it. Now, not as big as a comeback as the others, but
what did he come back from? He's always been there.
Yeah, he wasn't.
He had a brief hiatus where he worked an angle that he put his boots in
his retirement angle. So he did a fake retirement angle, then he came back to team with Acclaimed. And that was kind of his comeback. He got back into the ring. I mean, he's been on their side for a while, but he didn't really have very many fights. But yeah, that's why it's not as big.
I know a lot of people are saying Punk, but
it's definitely not Nia fucking Jax. That's for sure.
Shut up, hater.
God, man. Okay, so Randy Orton, first match back, War Games. For God's sake, I think that's a great comeback.
And Punk technically hasn't had a match yet.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm gonna go Orton. I'm gonna go against the grain here. I'm gonna say Randy Orton.
I dig it. I think the spectacle of the event, the happening is
the magnitude of the meaning of the comeback definitely goes to Punk, and you can't disagree with that.
If you want to get technical on a return, we haven't seen him fight yet, so I see where Doc's coming too. We saw Orton perform at a high level,
but I get it. You haven't seen him on TV yet.
Yeah, he hasn't had a TV.
I get it.
Yet.
It's the surprise factor of Punk, and nobody saw it coming.
Yeah, after how he left AEW, we thought no one's going to give him a chance, but we see like you said earlier, he looks happier.
He looks so fucking happy.
He's fitting right in, and he's going to do great things there.
They talk about looking happier and everything. If you look at the videos when Punk come back, when Punk walked out there, I love what Orton did. Orton took a chair, opened it, sat in a ring, waited for him to come just a little bit, and was like,
yep.
I thought that was great. Like, he didn't get like Seth did. Seth got all pissy. Fuck you. I know that's a work.
Yeah.
But the simple fact is, Randy was just like, okay, cool. Hey, how you doing?
He does.
I love how they did that. I love how they did that. He looks
like he's at home. I hate to use the word, but he does look like he's where he should be. Tag team of the year. This one, I not even close for me, but I say FTR. Not only the best team, but they've had a ton of success this year.
I'll make it quick. I'll rank them in order. FTR 1, Judgment Day 2, Usos 3, KO Sammy 4, Creeds 5, Acclaimed 6.
Doc, you can disagree. It's all right.
I'd
have KO and Sammy over to Usos.
KO Sammy is definitely tag team of the year, just for the fact that, man, the main event WrestleMania and that whole storyline with the bloodline and how that ending, just the way they closed that chapter at the end of that match when Sammy took that deep breath, knowing, and you could just see his mind racing, every little thing that he did with the bloodline. Tag team champions. I loved it.
I'm really hyped about what Triple H is going to do for the tag team division, hopefully in 2024. I've been waiting for it for a while. You've seen a little taste of it now. I'm just really hoping we see more of it. What about you, Jay, with Tag Team of the Year?
I mean, FTR is my favorite out of this bunch, and I love the Judgment Day too, but it's funny the Acclaimed are even on this list.
I agree.
Well, they were the tag team champs, and then they were the 6-man champs. So they've had a lot of success this year. The scissor shit was over as hell for the first half of the year. Just trying to.
No, I get it. I mean, look, I feel like KO and Sammy probably had the best year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But like, I can't wait to see what the Creeds do.
Yeah, they're definitely breaking. I mean, they've come out of nowhere.
Everything they do is must watch on the main roster. So I'm pumped.
And that's a tag team, like what you'd think of a tag team. They dress the same. They're a tag team, like old school type of tag team. So I'm hyped for that too. Female Wrestler of the Year. We just talked about earlier. Rhea has held that title all year, but she hasn't had a lot of fights. Julia Hart's come up. Athena's been. This is where I took Charlotte out and put Athena in. That's the only change I've made.
This is where I would throw a curveball because I would probably look at Female Wrestler of the Year as actually who was the best wrestler and not like a popularity contest or
Gotcha. Fair.
But I'd still probably go with either Tony or Rhea.
Yeah, I have Rhea. I mean, I think she's head and shoulders above the rest, even though they're all great. I love Bianca, but Rhea character work this year was phenomenal. Just everything she's done was so great. Doc?
I'm on a tie with Rhea and Tony right now, but it edges out to Rhea Ripley.
And I love Tony too, and I love Julia Hart. I mean, it's just Rhea's like on a different level, in my opinion. Jay?
How is Becky Lynch not on this list?
I don't know. She had a good.
Seriously, the Trish Stratus story. What she did with the women's NXT title.
Good call. Yeah, true. That's true.
Come on.
Yeah,
Becky. Sports Illustrated. I didn't even know there's still a magazine.
Maybe we move Athena out and put Becky right there.
You can put Becky in for Athena then. I just didn't want Charlotte on the list because I don't think she did anything very memorable this year, in my opinion.
I love Charlotte.
She's the GOAT, but
she is great, but this wasn't her band year. Get better too.
She's our queen.
Male Wrestler of the Year. Last week we talked about those wrestlers that had up to 100 fights, and then number one was Cody Rhodes with 105 matches and 101 wins. Does that make him the best? MJF, Seth Rollins, we just saw, has more title defenses than Roman.
I'd take Roman Reigns off this list.
Gunther's been great. Roman's been on top of the world all year, even though he hasn't fought a lot. And LA Knight's coming to his own. So CJ,
this might
your
be
male wrestler of the year?
This might be a curveball for you guys.
Go ahead.
I'm torn between MJF and Gunther.
Fair. Doc?
The Ring General Gunther, 100%.
I think 2024 might be his year too.
He's just phenomenal. He can take the next step on that IC belt.
And we'll talk about a match he had too. So Jason, who's your male wrestler of the year?
You know, Blaze, you know what I like about you? You are the voice of the fan. And what I mean by that is I love how you refer to wrestling as fights.
I always say fights. Yeah. I don't call them matches. I've always called them fights.
Yeah.
Even when I do my commentary on my game, I call them fights.
That's awesome.
Because that's what I want. I want to believe, to suspend my disbelief and believe these guys are fighting each other.
No, I get it. As I said, I love it. I absolutely love it. Look, I mean, Roman is the best.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I actually put Gunther in on the Twippies that you can watch tomorrow on the YouTube channel of That Wrestling Podcast. So we'll go with the Ring General.
It's hard. I mean, Seth has been the working man's champ all year too.
Yeah, but
I love Gunther. I cannot knock Gunther.
Yeah,
you know, and Seth
Gunther won it. Gunther won the Busty, I think, for Male Wrestler of the Year for Busted.
MJF's coming to his own. Cody Rhodes has been consistent all year.
Can I get someone's opinion on this one?
Yeah, sure. Who's Bodie's Male Wrestler of the Year?
Pick one. Male Wrestler of the Year. Really look at him and then pick one. Who do you think it is? Even if you hate him. Look, your Uncle Jason's there. Say hi.
All right.
Wow, he's really pondering this.
Today, Junior.
Come on, today, Junior. That's what your uncle just said. Who? Gunther. He picked Gunther.
I mean, it's a good choice.
I thought he was picking Cody. I really did.
Good choice.
Good choice.
Now, the last one, if there is a match that you think should be on here, by all means, throw it in here. Because the first thing I noticed is there's only one WWE match. And it is arguably the best match of the year. The rest of them.
Sorry.
The rest. So you got MJF versus Danielson was a 60-minute Iron Man match. You got Omega versus Ospreay at Forbidden Door. You got Sabre and Brandon Danielson, which I loved at Wrestle Dream. And you have the bloody, gory death match between Hangman and Swerve. And Ilya, which I think his matches with then Walter were phenomenal. And him and Carmelo. And then, of course, Gunther, Sheamus, and Drew in that match at Mania.
I'm going to flip.
Go ahead, CJ.
Go ahead.
He's still thinking about it. I can tell.
Yeah.
I'm gonna flip the script, and I'll pick from one of these 6. But there's 2 that I feel
the Usos and Sammy and Kevin.
Honorable mentions is Willow Nightingale and Athena from the one Ring of Honor pay-per-view, and then Athena and Billy Starks from the last Ring of Honor pay-per-view.
Some people have had the Usos and Sammy and Kevin up in this ranking.
But I'd go with the MJF and Danielson. What was that? That was the Iron Man, the 60-minute deal. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. That's kind of where I was leaning to. I really enjoyed that match. What about you, Jason? Where are you at? And if it's not on the list, that's fine too.
It's really not. But I loved Gunther and Chad Gable from Raw.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
And from WrestleMania, Edge and Finn Balor and Hell in a Cell. And I think because I was so close, like I was in the 6th row, and to see that stuff that close was just insane. But that triple threat match from WrestleMania is probably out of these 6 for me.
Mm-hmm.
Fair. It was I hate to use the
and
word.
I mean, Cody and Seth in Hell in a Cell, or was that end of 2022?
That was 2 years ago.
Yeah. Okay. That long. Oh, Jesus Christ.
That's an age.
So, I mean, the Roman Sammy match was good. You give me any Omega Ospreay match, and it would be up there, in my opinion. I just love the way both of them work. But that is it for tonight. That is, Doc, you didn't pick yours? Oh, no, that's CJ. I normally do that to CJ. And he says, "What am I, a piece of shit?" Oh, that's right. You were still thinking about it.
It was your Matt Damon, Jimmy Kimmel moment there,
Matt
Doc.
Damon. Matt Damon.
If on the list, Omega and Ospreay.
Right.
Off the list, I'm gonna go with Roman and Sami Zayn. That crowd was so hot. And
you're just marking out for whoever said it in the chat. Come on,
it's somebody I don't think. Oh, Gab. Well,
he's from West Virginia.
Really, I didn't even see that until just 2 seconds ago. But no, I will say that Sammy Roman match, you really go back and watch it. Just the air out of the building as soon as he pinned him. Oh my God. And his family sitting in the front row. It was just so much emotion. It had everything in a wrestling match you'd love. So, like I said, those are the 2 off the list and on the list. So,
all right. Well, we can only end the show the way we always do, and that's at the end of the day. All right, so you must end your oh, there we go. They're much better. You must start with at the end of the day for your final thoughts. And we will start with our esteemed guest from That Wrestling Podcast, Jason.
At the end
you've already plugged, so you can plug again if you want. I know you will. And I'm kind of disappointed that we didn't get a visit from a certain individual, but he must not like it.
A-holes? Tony Khan here.
I was expecting it, but I still shouldn't have took a drink at the same time.
Jason told me just to chill the fuck out and, don't swear because that's CJ's thing. And, I just don't understand how people just don't like what Tony Khan is doing at AEW. I mean, he invented the tournament.
Yes, he did.
They should have just called it the Tony-ment, because that's how great the Continental Classic has been this year. So, again, Blaze, I broke my rule for those other a-holes on that wrestling podcast, saying I wouldn't show up on other wrestling podcasts, but I'm here. My name's Coney Tom. Happy New Year. Go F yourself, a-holes. I gotta go. Bye.
Nice.
Wow. Damn, I didn't even see that guy come in here, Blaze.
We didn't follow the rules either. You got to start it with at the end of the day, but we'll let it slide for Coney Tom.
I don't understand how the Kool-Aid Man can do so much destruction and never be financially responsible for that.
That is a great question.
I mean, it doesn't make sense. And I want to thank you guys for having me on. This was fun.
Yeah.
The Twippies, third annual Twippies tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. on That Wrestling Podcast YouTube channel. Please subscribe. We're on the precipice of 4,000 subscribers. We've been working on this all year.
Great stuff.
In 2024, we've got some new fun stuff planned. I can't tell you yet.
But I can't. No, shut up.
Oh. We got some stuff coming up in 2024, but if you don't watch on YouTube, well, I guess that doesn't even make sense here. If you want to listen to That Wrestling Podcast on the go, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, everywhere you get podcasts. So thanks, guys. Happy New Year, and I'll talk to you guys in 2024 at the end of the day.
Yeah, you can end with it too. I was going to call ours the Sensies or something, but it just didn't roll off the tongue right.
It's Brian thing.
It didn't work.
Love that shit. But it'll be fun tomorrow for sure.
Doc, at the end of the day.
At the end of the day, I say it always, just enjoy wrestling. And at the end of the day, it's going to be a great year. So
I thought
it's going to be iconic. CJ, your turn.
CJ,
at the end of the day, I'm still the best around, and in 2024, nothing's gonna ever keep me down.
So he's gonna fight again. You heard it first here, folks. CJ is not done wrestling.
He's
coming back in the ring.
There's your fucking clickbait. No, at the end of the day, a lot of good stuff going on in wrestling, and I'm glad that a lot of people are coming around and being more mainstream with their fandom of wrestling. I could just hope in 2024 that people would step out of their comfort zone and go check out a indie wrestling show. There's a lot of good shit around the area. I'm lucky enough to be a part of a lot of different promotions. Getting into producing in IWC, I feel like we're putting out a really good product and continuously striving to become better. 2PW is giving guys that may not have a chance to get out there and perform in front of a crowd. RWA, they have steady crowds all around. Revenge in Erie, I mean, that the Revenge is such a special thing. Big Revenge Rumble coming up in February. And step outside of your comfort zone on what you just see on TV and get to a show in person.
Awesome. At the end of the day, folks, it's a great time to be a wrestling fan. I mean, if you're not going out there, and there's a lot on TV to consume, I know. So pick what you like, cheer who you want to cheer, boo who you want to boo, all that good stuff. MLW's making moves. Impact, the TNA wants to make moves. I don't know what the hell's going on with NWA, but they're still around. There's still a lot of wrestling out there. So there's something for everyone. If you don't like one or the other, just find what you like and enjoy it. Watch it like a fan. Watch it like a friend. Watch it like a kid. Have fun with wrestling. It's back. I think 2024 will show that as well. So I appreciate everyone who's been with us through this 100 episodes or more. We're going to make some changes and do some different things in the new year as well. So stick around for that. I will be live here in a little bit and some more. So appreciate y'all, and I'll see you on the other side.
Yeah.
We out of here. And definitely check out the Hardcore Sports Network here on YouTube as well. We are live there also. Awesome.
Anal!
Oh.
Anal!
At the end of the day, anal.
Can I get a
No boy cunts or anything this week. How about it?
Well, you know where he's at.
Don't you fucking dare!
I was going for it.
I just want to hear CJ cuss some more. I don't know.
You have to unmute Jason. He's a rookie with the post show. You have to unmute yourself.
Take a massive fucking shit.
You click unmute and then talk.
Oh,
There you go.
Oh, I can mute myself. Unmute myself. Why was there a DBE logo under that Britt Baker picture?
What was it?
Because it's on DVD.
With a DVD logo.
WDD.
I don't understand. It's not Sean McDowell there.
Oh, goodness. Tony Khan is invading.
I'm Tony Khan. I gotta go. Bye.
See you next week, folks. Happy New Year. And all that good shit. Where's the ketchup bottle? Ketchup.
Get more and get in, bitch.
Ice Cube here, everyone on the show. Big shout out to everybody that's made this show great, except for JJ Ruff.
Oh, leave JJ alone. He's having a rough fun.
You get suspended on your own accord.
I'm scared of it. So just be nice, or I have to deal with it, not you.
Here it is. We out of here.